let's start working on this. I want to make right now. I want to work on a blog for agentstower.com. And to be honest, I really don't know how it should be done. I mean, we're going to define it right now. And this project is run, well, it's using Laravel 12. That's the latest version of Laravel. Laravel, it's a framework for PHP. And to be honest, it's really complete, and it makes the development really easy. I'm also using another projects and new projects, especially for projects where AI it's going to be really involved, like a lot of AI functions and features and I don't know services. We are starting to use me and my developer, and a developer that works with me. We are going to start working on. We already have one project with Adonis that is a JavaScript web framework to that is to make a full web app with one framework. So you have the back end and the front end working as one, and that is Adonis. That they call it like the Laravel for JavaScript, and since I like Laravel, so that's why I searched for a framework for JavaScript that is similar to it, and that's why we started to use Adonis. That is the current version for Adonis is 6, and we have other projects in with Adonis that right now will be, for example, okay, so I just want to change something in here. Just a moment. Okay. So I want to go. Okay. So it's going to be. So AI agents for YouTube.com. That's the one with Adonis, and all of my previous projects were in with Laravel. So for example, the one that we're going to be working right now, it's Agents Tower. That is this project. We're going to be working on that one in here. So okay, so I want to use something in here. Okay, so how I would like to add music. I don't know how to stream. This is the first time I'm streaming like this, so I really don't know how to do a lot of things. I really don't know if I'm streaming right now. Okay, so how can I see it? Content live, and I'm live right now. So if I click here, like how can I look? See how many people are looking at it. Okay, so I'm seeing this. Okay, all right. So reach engagement. Okay, overview. Okay, so I'm going to leave that in here just to make sure it's working. And I would like to add some music. How can I do it? Okay, I don't know. I'm going to figure that later on, maybe on another stream. But today I already wanted to stream, so we started. So okay, so this is local. No, don't think this is real information. This is my local MySQL server. And okay, so let's start. Okay, So we're going to be working on the blog for this. Right now, this is the homepage. I mean, it has a lot of issues that I can work with it, but right now I want to work on the blog. So I have created some I have created some videos to explain how to use Agents Tower, and because it's a package that you can use for tracking your AI API costs, and it's a little bit tricky in how to add it to your project. So that's why I have created several videos about it. And for example, so that YouTube channel where we are going to be getting this is Agents Tower. And as you can see, well, right now I'm live, but the videos on how to use it are all of these, right? They have really little views, but well, I'm working on that. So we're going to start working on this project, and we want to add a blog. Okay, so first I need to run the server. I think it's already running, but just to make sure, we are going to go in here, and we are going to go to localhost 8000, that is Laravel's port. So right now the it's not running, the local server is not running, so I'm going to move to this project, and we're going to run the local environment, the local server. So it's going to run concurrently several commands, and now if I go here, we are going to see the live well, sorry, not the live, the local project. Okay, so now we are going to go here, and the first thing that I want to do in here is look how this is like plain white, and then the background starts to have some color. It goes from a light blue to white and then light blue. So I really want to start with improving this, because I really don't like how it's looking right now. So we're going to go to the code, and this is, we need to go to resources, views, and I have the home view, which is this one. So I can just like copy this, and if I search in here, I'm going to find this, right? So we were on that page. So this is using the app layout. So if I search for the app layout, and then resources, views, layouts, this is the layout. In here we have the navigation, that is, it's actually what we're seeing in here, and then we have the main content, and the main content is everything that is inside here, everything that is in here. So now you can see how this has the background gradient to bottom right. So that is the gradient. So I want to move this gradient. How can we do it? Like there are several ways to do it. Maybe how can we do it? So if I add this to this, so if I go in here and I write like this, and then I copy everything else that is the colors to where it goes, so I just copy everything. So I'm just going to cut everything, right click, cut. No. So, okay, so again, in here, and then right click, cut, and then I save this, and I go in here, and I'm going to save it in here, like this, and I'm going to save this, and it's going to automatically refresh. So it's not doing anything, just make sure. Okay, so we have something that is not working in here. So maybe this component has a background. So I'm going to go to the component. So I search for the name of the component. It's navigation. And then we go to, let's see, background white. So it has it in here. So I go in here. You can see now that we have the same. But I don't like this because look how we start from this light, but actually this color goes all the way to here, to the last content, the last section in the content. And I don't want that. I only want it to be in the in this screen. So how can we work on this? Let me think about it. So if I go in here, I have main, I have the footer, and this includes everything. I could have the home, the navigation be. Okay, so how can we do it? I can have it without color, and then I'm going to move this from here. Maybe it's like kind of I'm doing everything several times, but to be honest, this is how it's coding, how you normally code. I mean, right now there's a lot of hype about using AI, and to be honest, I really use it. I really use it a lot. My web developer also uses it a lot. But it's not going to do everything. And I mean, I have tried to using the agent this feature, and using the latest models, for example, Gemini 2.5 Pro or O3 or Cloud Sonnet. Supposedly this is the last one, but and I mean this is the last one, and it looks like it's the best one because of the little brain here. But I have used more this one, and to be honest, it has made the development harder because it tries to do everything like in one shot, and it tries to do it like really abstract, and I don't like to have projects like that. I like to be more pragmatical. I don't know how to say that, but to be more direct. So I haven't really used that a lot. I have tried to, but it hasn't worked for me. So this is like how I normally code, going slowly but surely. So, okay. Okay. I'm going to move this here because it's just okay. Okay. So how can we work on this? So I can make this go absolute like this, and as you can see, it is now working. I really don't like to use absolute because it can make like how do you say it? Unexpected behavior. For example, this can go like beyond the navigation bar, and it starts to messing up with your layout and how useful it is, and it can have buttons over text, and I don't like to do that. But I think this is the way to do it, so that I can have the background go from this corner to this corner without having to have everything inside the gradient, just the navigation bar and the hero section. So it is working in here. Okay, so what I can do is, let's do the development tools and let's go here. So in here, there's no, as you can see, this has the padding, so I can add some padding here. So, well, that it didn't work because I need to do it in here, because is we're using Tailwind in here, and the classes that I'm using, they are generated on the fly, so that's why we don't have them over there. But if I add them here and we reload this, you can see it's working. Okay, so now this is looking better. I mean, it's not completely better, but it's a start. So we're going to work on the detailed tutorials. Right now, this I cannot click on any of these cards, so we're going to work on that. We can save this. I'm going to save it, everything. Let's add it. So I'm going to change header to be included in the gradient background. So change header to absolute to be included. So we're going to commit that we can sync changes. So now let's work on this. So how do we work with this? How do we create a blog? So first we are going to need an index. The index is where someone can see all of the blogs. We also need a show. The show view is where you are going to see one blog, one article. And if we go to that usually, I mean, Laravel has these methods that help you, are commands, CLI commands. So for example, if I run PHP artisan help to see all of the commands available for us. Okay, sorry, just PHP artisan. In here, we can make all of these things, and it's going to give us a scaffolding, like how we can, like the basics of what each file should have, like really basic stuff, but it gives you, it makes you not think about that, about those things. So if, for example, if I write, so for example, home, I'm going to open the roots, web roots, and so I'm going to go to, I'm going to create here blog roots. Okay, and I'm going to this, and okay, so I'm going to save this, and I'm going to run PHP artisan make, and you can make several things. For example, you the ones that you use the most are migration. Well, not really. You use it. Controller, migration, model, and model. So I'm going to start with a controller. Sorry, with a model. So I'm going to make a model. The model is going to be the article, okay, the blog articles. And if I write help, it's going to give me everything that I can use. For example, I can make a controller for that model, and a migration for that model. And I'm going to use both of those. So I'm going to go to PHP artisan make model dash controller and migration. Okay, enter. And what's the name of the model? I'm going to write it as article in singular, and it made this file, the article PHP file. It's a model, so that model is going to have everything is going to be assigned to that model. For example, the creation of a model, the edition, the delete, everything that you are going to make to an article, it's going to go through, it's going to be assigned in the article model. Then it created the migration to make the article stable, where we are going to define if it should have a title, an updated date, or the text or the body, an image, like the thumbnail, the author. Everything is going to be related in that table, with columns in that table. And then we have the controller that it's going to control, if I want to update something, the controller is going to make it's the one that is going to get the request, and it's going to make to go to the model, and then when I want to retrieve the articles, it's going to get the articles and show them, get the information, modify it, or give it some manipulate the information or something, and then send it to the view. So this is basically how. But basically everything that you are going to have, it's going to be used with this structure of 3 files. This is pretty basic. So if I go in here, and you are going to see that those files were created. This is one of the files, and then I go in here. This is the other file, and this is the other file. So first, what information do I need to have in articles? First, I need to have the name. Look how it's auto-completed. This is one of the Cursor features. I mean, all other IDE coding environments that have AI, and honestly, before AI, it was also already a thing. But this is it really helps you when it already understands how the project is working. To be honest, I don't like to use title. I like to use for my backend the same name for each type, for each column that has the same information. So for example, if I'm using users, it's also called name. It's not called title. If I use a title for an article, well, I know it's the better word is title, but I just want to be able to use the same names for each one of the columns or of the properties of my objects. So that's why I'm going to change it to name slug. The slug is the path that I'm going to access, for example, / I don't know, blog, and this is going to be the slug for example, average cost per API model, for example. Okay, so that is going to be this is going to be a slug. Right now, if I go in here, it's going to give me a not found error, because obviously we don't have those. Okay, and then we have the content. I'm going to add this. I'm going to change it to body. We could have a summary or something like that. The image URL, we can change this to thumbnail or preview image. The author, and this is not going to be like this, because we are going to have an author's table that it's going to be related to here, so to this table. So for example, instead of having it like that, we are going to use table for an ID. I don't like to use it like this. So so if we look for so Laravel eloquent documentation. So I'm going to go here and we go to relationships. Now it's going to be database and migrations. So let's see. Okay, so let's look foreign. Okay, foreign keys, foreign ID. So let's say I like to be more explicit on how to create these relationships. So that's what I'm looking here. This was used in previous versions of, I think in the 10th, it was used like this. Okay, so no. Okay. Let's see let's see if in this version. Okay, so this is it. So I want to make foreign the author. So this is author ID, right? So foreign, and now it's getting it how I want to do it. Author, this references. This is how I like to do it. So author ID references ID on the table users, and on delete cascade. I don't want to use cascade. I want to use I want to have on delete restrict. But we have basically three options in here. We can make it null. I don't remember if that's how it's supposed to be written. So it's nullable. On delete. So let's see. Okay, so it can be null. Let's see, on delete cascade, but I want to have other options. So okay. So well, okay. I want to use on delete restrict. That's the one that I usually use. So that's the one that I have in mind. And this is we are going to need to write to run this migration to have this table on our database. And then we have article. This is the model. So for example, in here, I usually, you can use just the fields that you can update. So we can update name, slug, body, preview image, and author ID, which is basically what we have in here. And okay, so I'm going to save this for the moment. And yes, we can create methods. For example, the author, I usually want to have it like this. And okay, and we have to have an authors table. We still don't have it, so I'm going to make it in the same way that we make this. So this is going to be called author, and it created everything. So the author, the migration is, I can move it over here. So how I can just edit this. For example, I can make this so just to be over this one, because it's referenced in that table. So I'm going to call this the name, the slug, the image, the link, and that's correct. And I'm going to change this to body just to have it be standardized with the other tables that have title and that have text assign to them. Okay, so now we can go to the author model, and the author model, it's also going to have protected fillable this, and it's going to have articles assigned. Okay, function articles has many articles, perfect. And okay, so I need to add in here, this has many, and we can add it in here to be a little bit more verbose on what we want to do. And in here we can have that belongs to, and we're going to add in here. We also need to add the model. So so I'm going to add the model author because we are using it in here, and in here we are going to have the article. Okay. So now, sorry, I closed that. And then in this table, I think we can have nah. No, we're going to leave it like that. Okay, in here. So let's make okay, so we're making an article. So we're getting all of the articles, and we're going to show it in the article index, but we need to create the roots in web. So I'm going to add root blog. I really like to use blog, and then article. Okay, and okay, this is, so I'm going to have in here the article. This is okay. This is okay. Perfect. And we are going to have let's scaffold something, and we are going to have the author roots, get authors, and here is where we are going to show all of the authors on the blog. It's basically me, and but maybe in the future more people can join. So let's start having it available. And we are going to have a page for each author where people can find the articles of each author, right? So article, okay. So let's see if this is still going to show not found. So now we have an error because it's where we already added specific functionalities, features, or objects. So we need to, it's already trying to access things that still don't exist. So that's what we need to start working on this. And this is telling target class article controller doesn't exist. So we are getting this error in this. Okay, so we're getting this error in web because I added this article controller here, but I didn't add it in here. So I'm going to add it to the in here. Article controller, author controller. So now this should, as you can see, it already changed the error. So now it's telling me that I haven't defined the method show in the article controller. So now it's detected that we are in a blog and that we have this slug in here. But when it goes to this, it's basically going to this root. If I go to this root, and I go to article controller. So I'm going to have everything here, author, okay. And in here, I need to define a function. So I'm going to write public function author article, show. So in here, right now, I'm just going to dump the article, and it's basically going to be, so in here, okay, let's see what the article gives me. It's going to give me, it still doesn't know how to get an article. So, and I haven't run the migrations. So let's run the migrations. In here, how do you run it? You go to PHP Artisan, and then you go to migrate, and we can run the migration fresh, and that's going to run all of the migrations. In this case, it's not needed. I just need to run migrate without anything of this. But I'm going to write it as, for example, if I write in here, migrate step, help, and I go to I want to step this one, because since we have two migrations in here, two new migrations, and I just run migrate, these two migrations are going to be executed on the same step. So if later on I want to roll back, like to undo some migrations, I will need to undo like all of the migrations in that step. So I like to do it on steps so that each migration is done in their own step. So if I just want to roll back one of the tables, I can do it. So I'm going to run PHP Artisan migrate step like this. And it's giving me an error. So what's the error? Okay. So I'm going to open this, and I'm going to go to MySQL. This is my local environment. And let's see the table, the databases. No, sorry, I need to use the database, what's called Agents Tower. That's is the name for this. And let's see the tables. So in here we have the migrations table. So let's see all of the migrations. So in here you can see that the migration for the authors table was run, but not the other migration, that is the create articles table. Okay, so that's where we have the problem. So the problem, it's telling me that it's referencing the column author ID and reference column ID in foreign key constraint are incompatible. Sorry, I know what's going on. So in these tables, I need to make this not a string, so it needs to be a big integer. Actually, it needs to be an unsigned big integer. And authors, sorry, this is authors. And in here, I think that's everything. So now if I run again PHP Artisan migrate, now I don't need to run step because we already run this migration. I just want to run this new migration. This is the one that had the problem, the error. So I'm just going to run it like this, and I'm getting the okay. So the issue was, this is interesting because the issue was that if we see the tables in here, so if we show tables, you are going to see that the articles table was created, but the migration was not run, so it's not in here. So it's trying to create a table that was already created by the previous migration, even though that migration had an error, because the error was after the table was created. So to avoid these kind of issues, I like to do some things that I to be honest, I forgot. I just didn't do it. To be honest, like every time that I have a migration, I try to use this type of paradigm. Or so we use a catch and like this, and then in here like this, and then I'm going to get this. I'm going to add it to the try. So if we have an error in this steps that it's trying to that this code is going to do, and if we have an error, it's going to catch the error, and then we can do like anything that we want with it. So I'm going to use this, and I want to so I'm going to do this. So this down, what it's going to do, this line, it is going to tell, okay, so right now we are in the up method. We're going to go to, we're in this migration object. So we are going to go to the down method of this object. This is what this is doing, going to down. Okay, so it's going to drop this table, because if we had an error, I want to drop the table so that the error, so that the table doesn't stay in my database because we had an error. So to not leave anything behind. So so if we run again, select all from migrations, we still don't have the articles table. But if I go in here and, okay, so I'm in here and authors table, articles table. So I'm going to do the same thing in here. So I'm going to do a try catch like this, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, and the catch is going to be this. So okay, so I'm going to have this error. I'm going to leave this error because I want to do it again. I want to show you how this is going to work. So I'm going to, let's just to validate, we're going to show all the tables. We have the articles and the authors. Okay, and so if I this is the last migration. Yes, this is the last migration. So I'm going to delete directly this table. I don't need it. I'm going to drop table articles. We now don't have that table, and I'm going to drop authors. But I don't want to drop it just like I drop articles, because now my down method, my rollback method for this migration, it's going to drop automatically this table. So for example, if I I'm going to do PHP artisan in here, migrate, but instead of just running that, I'm going to do a rollback. And let's see what the rollback do. So the rollback, it says rollback the last database migration, and it's basically like, for example, it's going to go one by one in these steps. So for example, if I had 3 migrations with the number 16, it's going to roll back those 3 migrations. So that's why I use step when I run the migrations, because I like to be able to just roll back one of the migrations. So I'm going to do rollback like this, and as you can see, it just rolled back one migration. So now if I select all for migrations, we see that we don't have any anymore that migration, the number 16. And if we see our tables, we don't have the authors table anymore. So now I'm going to leave this error in here. I'm going to have everything like this to show you what will happen if we have an error again, but we have this try catch method using this down. So if I go in here and I run in here PHP artisan migrate step, now I'm going to use step because it's going to run 2 migrations, and I run this, you are going to see how this one was executed correctly, successfully, and this had the error because I left the error in here. But if I go now to my database and we show the tables, you're going to see that we just have the authors table. The articles table was not created because we correctly have this try catch method. It detected the error, so it go through here and then it made this down, so it dropped the articles table. So that's basically the logic behind this try catch method and the up and down method. So now I'm going to have it correct in here. Unsigned big integer. Sorry, I'm going to save this, and just to make everything like again, I'm going to show tables, and we don't have the authors table nor the articles table. So if we select all from migrations, we still are as we began. So now I'm going to run again the PHP artisan migrate step. So now we have the 2 migrations working correctly. They were successful. So now if I go in here and I make all the see all of the migrations, now I have both migrations. And if we show the tables, we have articles and authors. So now we are running correctly the migrations. Now, I mean, it's going to give me another error. It's giving me not found. Why? Because if I go to the article controller show, we're not telling there are several things in here, additional steps that we need to do. So for example, we are saying article, but there's nothing in here telling, at least unless that Laravel does it like in a magic way. There's nothing in here that it's telling how to convert this thing, like what we have in here, that says that this article needs to get the article using this column. Okay, so I'm going to, I just realized something. This needs to be unique. It's really important. And also in the author table, this needs to be in here. This needs to be unique. Okay, so if we wanted to, we can again do PHP artisan migrate rollback 1 and then 2 and then migrate step. We now have these these the two tables again. And if we, for example, see the tables, for example, articles, we're going to see that slug now it needs to be unique. So this is the primary key, but now it needs to be unique. Okay, so the issue in here is that we are not telling Laravel, my application, that it needs to convert this, that is the slug, to get the article based on the slug column. There are several ways to do this. I really do it like this. So for me, it's easier to understand what this is doing. So what is this saying? I'm saying that the article, it's going to be you're going to get the article table, the row, the value where the slug it's equals to this. Okay. So now if I do this, it's still going to give me this error because, well, it's giving me null because it's not getting any there are no articles in the database. So I could make the method to create the article, and but I will need to add that article every time that I run the migration. So I'm going to do now what's called a seeder and a factory. So the seeder and the factory are going to allow me to, when I run the migrations, to auto-populate the tables with fake information just for making the testing easier. But the other thing that this allows you to do, and that this helps you with, is that when you are working with a team, for example, that I work with a developer, that I have my own developer, it's a way for us to exchange code, and for example, make him see how it looks with just sorry, I got a message. So how it works just without needing to populate that database. So this is also a method from PHP Artisan. So in here we have something that it's called, okay, so I can make a factory that a factory and a seeder. So where's the seeder? In here. So seeder and factory go hand by hand. I mean, they work pretty well in combination, but you could use maybe just factory, or I mean, you can get away with it. We're going to use both of them. And so I can make those. And then when I want to seed the database, I can go to where it's so it's database seed. I can run this command, or when I make the migration, if I use migrate and I run PHP Artisan migrate help, you are going to see that I can run the seed from here. Okay, so let's make a seed. So we're going to PHP Artisan. Just a moment. So let me do something here because let's see if there's anyone connected. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's continue in here. So now we have null, and if I go to so where were we at? Okay, so we are working on the seeder. Sorry, so we go to PHP Artisan, and we're going to make a seed. I think that's the name. Make seeder, sorry, and factory. Just let me see something. Help. So there's no factory in here. I just want to make sure if it's not in factory. and it's not in here. So we're going to do do both, make factory, and this is going to be the name of the factory. It's going to be an article factory. So for example, if I go to the code, I don't know if there's factory right now in here. Okay, so these are the migrations and seeder and factories. Okay, so article factory, and I'm going to make a seeder. And it's going to be called, this is going to be also an article seeder. Okay, so now if we go to factories, we have article factory and the article seeder. Okay, so how are these going to work? I have article factory, article seeder. These go hand by hand. In here, I'm going to say how I want the seeder to be. For example, if I go to, I don't know, for example, AI model factory. That is a factory that we have right now. We have, how does this need to be created? So for example, if I go in here, first I need to add the model that is going to be used from this factory. And this is article, okay. And then in the definition, we're going to have this. And I think that's everything. Okay, factory. Yes, the faker. Okay. Okay, I think that's everything. Name, slug, okay. Body, okay, paragraph. So I want this to be longer. I can do this, I think, as a text. I don't know if that exists. So, right. So how I like to do this is, there are several ways in here. Also, we'll need the author because we're using it in here and I have to define it. Like this, I need the ID, okay. So for example, right now I have the question if text is a method from Faker, if it's, I don't know, if it's something, if it's a method that exists. So for example, what I do normally, it's I select this and I don't know if I can do it with right click. I can't do it. But if I press Control Shift L in my keyboard, you are going to see that, okay, so I'm going to close everything. I just want to add this. Control Shift L. As you can see, I'm adding to the context in Cursor, to the article factory, that the line 26 to 26. So if I go, so now I'm going to say, does the faker, I don't know if it's a package or how to call it, or method, or does the faker, I'm going to call it package, have that text method. And also I'm going to say list all the methods for faker, like this. Let's see what it does. So let's say GPT-4o. Yes, I want to use 4o. No, but I don't want this. It's telling me that yes, the article factory, yes, but I don't know if it exists. So let's delete this. So I'm going to use paragraph. So paragraph. Now I'm going to start again. So for example, So Control L, make a new chat, and I'm going to ask, does the faker method list all of the faker methods that exist, like this? Let's see. Okay, numbers and string, text. Okay, so it does exist. In here we can see that it exists: text, sentence, paragraph, paragraphs. Okay, so text, and tell me the text method parameters, available parameters. Let's see. So it needs to have the maximum number of characters for the generated text. By default is 200 characters. So I'm going to write it, I don't know, 800, like this. Okay. Now that is usually how I use Cursor, to ask questions relevant to what I'm coding. Yes, I usually ask. I do use it for other things, right? To make things that I don't want to do, but that is one of the most things that I use with Cursor. So now, okay, so now let's see. This is the factory, and now I need to run the seeder. So in the seeder, we have the database seeder, and it's calling these seeders. So I'm going to, in here, call the article seeder right now. Right now, I'm not going to add the outer seeder. I'm going to do that in a moment. So if I go to the article seeder, we don't have anything, so we need to add it in here. So we are going to run the factory for article, and so if I go to, we're going to create 10 articles basically. But if I go to article, I need to add in here that it needs to it has, I think it's called has or use. No, it's so I think I need to add it. I'm not sure. Let's see. For example, let's see for another method. Sorry, model. So for example, if I use user, yes, use has factory. So it needs to have a factory. So in here, use has factory. I think it's like this. Has factories, database eloquent factories. Okay, and in here I need to add it. So we're telling basically that article has a factory. So that's how we are relating this. But I think, sorry, it shouldn't be done in here. It should be done in the model. So I'm going to remove this, yes, because this is not something from the controller. It's from the yes, in here, like this, something from the model. So the model what I just made was I told the model that it has a factory, and the factory, like Laravel, identifies it by using this name and adding the word factory. So that's how it's connecting the both files. Okay, and articles. So this is going to run, but before this, we need to run the outer seeder because okay. Okay, because we are going to get the authors for the article. So, but we haven't created this seeder, so I'm going to create them. So use let's say something. I just want to see something. I want to know for how long have I been. Okay. So okay, so I have the author, the article, seeder, and I need to create them. So I'm going to go to PHP artisan make the factory, and it's going to be called author factory, and then make seeder, and it's going to be article seeder. Okay, sorry, it's author seeder. Okay. And then what else can I do? Okay, so I'm going to go in here, author factory. We need to relate it to this model, and okay, this is good. Image link body. Okay, this is, I'm going to add this as 150 words. I'm going to change this to paragraph, just to paragraph like this, and I'm going to make the same question. Give me the parameters for the paragraph method for faker method, like this. So it's searching the web and generates a paragraph with 3 sentences and 5 sentences. I'm going to defaults to 3. I'm just going to add 2, like this. So this is going to be the number of sentences in the paragraph. So now I need to relate the author model with has factory, like this. Oh, and what else? Okay, so in here in the database here, I'm running first the author seeder and then the article seeder, because I'm going to get the authors for each article from its table. So I'm going to run. I don't want to create 10 authors. I just want to create 2. So it's going to be 2 authors. And in the article factory, I want to get the ID for those authors that were already created. I don't want to create new authors just for each new article. So how can we do this? I'm going to get the authors that were already created in random order. The first one, and I just want to get the ID. So let's see if this works. Okay, so okay, so I'm going to remove so for example, if I go to the seeder, database seeder, and if I run the seeder for the database, it's going to make all of this. It's going to create users, this user, and it's going to create an API key, and then it's going to call the AI model seeder and the execution seeder. It's going to make everything again. So to avoid any issues with this, I'm just going to run everything to see if this works. Because if I run the seeder, it's going to give me error, and it is going to give me error because of this. Since the email needs to be unique, it's going to give me an error. So I'm going to do PHP artisan dv wipe. So that's going to delete everything that is in the database. And then I'm going to run PHP artisan migrate. I could use fresh instead of using dv wipe. I prefer to use wipe because it deletes everything, even though we're not using like other things in here. I just want to do it like that. So it's irrelevant if I use migrate fresh or just migrate. But I'm going to run it with step, but also I need to run it with seed. And that is the command that is going to seed my database with everything that I have in here. So let's see if this works, or let's see what error does it give me. So it's running everything, and I have an error. So there's not a serial article. Okay, I just want to analyze this. Look how it dropped all of the tables. It's preparing the database. It's creating the migration table, like how it's going to be, what are the steps that are going to be taken. Then it's running the migrations, and it's seeding. So it's seeded the AI model seeder, the execution seeder, the author seeder, and we have an error in the article seeder. So where's the error? So I don't have the article. So if I go in here and I go to the article, so this was in the article seeder. In here, I think, yes, I need to add these models. Okay, so if I go to article factory, I think this is going to, okay, I think this is going to work. So now I'm going to run the same command, drop all of the tables, and then migrate step by step and add the seeding. So it run. So now if I go to, let's see what happened in here. Sorry, this is the new one. So I'm going to remove this. So it's working. If I go to blog, okay, just a moment, and I'm going to brush AI API costs like this. Okay, it's null. So now if I go to brush API AI API costs, so how can I validate this? Let's see, let's start making. So I'm going to start saving what I have, what we have worked on, because now if I start making changes, for example, to this file, it's really difficult for me to track that I have changed this file, because now all of my files have been changed, like obviously not all of them, but if I make a change in here, it's not easy for me to see that was a new change that I made, because all of these files have changed. So now I'm going to save it, and I like to save it like by steps on how we work on this, because it's like it has a better order for me. So now I'm going to save, first I'm going to save the author and author controller and the author migration like this. So I'm going to save this like created author, I don't know, basics, for example. And then I'm going to do the same, but for the article, the model, and the migration. So created article basics. And then I'm going to do article factory, and sorry, not article, first author factory, and author seeder. Created, no, sorry. I mean, I could do it, but I prefer to do first this, and added article and authors roots like this, and then article factory. No, sorry. Author factory and author seeder, and created author seeds, for example, like this. I mean, we could add more information or be more grammatically correct, but I just need to understand what was going on. And created article setting like this, and then like this. Added seeders to main database setting like this. Okay, I'm going to sync the changes. And let's see. Okay, so no issues with the Git repository. So now if I go to let's make a method. So for example, or let's work on the articles index method to see which articles were created so that we can then see the article. So I'm going to go to the article controller. We're going to list them all, and we need to make a view. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this just to see what's going on here. So if I go to blog, so you can see how we created these 10 articles. Like in here we have 10 articles. So now if I, for example, open this, I go to original, this is the article with ID 4. This is the title, the name, and this is the slug. So for example, if I copy this, okay, I'm not going to copy. Let's do it as if we were working on the view already. So if I go to views, instead of resources, views, I'm going to make a new folder, and it's going to be called articles, and I'm going to create a new file, and this is, we are going to have the index, so it needs to be called index.blade.php, and then I'm going to create also a new file that's going to be the show for Blade. And if you give your files this name, it's really it's really easy to then work in a team, because now you know that the view to see all of the articles, it's going to be on index, but that's also the view that's going to be used to see all of the authors. For example, in the folder authors, we can now add a new file that is also going to be called index to see all of the authors, and then we're going to have the show.blade.php to have all of the to see, sorry, one of those authors. So that gives you like a lot of it makes it really easy to work in a team, and also for you to remember like how each of your projects, it's like to work with different projects and not be like in a blank state and how was this project made, in like you forget you forget how you structure the project. And this makes it really easy to take a project that you make 1 year ago, and if you follow the same structure, you are going to be like able to remember the names, the views, where the information is going to be. So that's the beautiful thing about working with these already defined ways to show the information, to retrieve it, and to work with it. So for example, if I wanted to go to a project from 1 year ago. I just go, okay, so the blog, it has articles. Okay, so I go to the article controller. I can see how the index it's getting the information and what are the modifications that are being made, if there's any, and also for showing the article. Okay, and in here then we can have like other methods. For example, I don't know, if you have a method to delete an article, to modify, to what else can be, like, that's basically it, update and delete. So it makes it really easy, to be honest, for you to remember how you work in previous projects, but also when you are working on a team. Okay, so now if I go to articles, index, okay, so I'm going to use the same layout that I'm using for main. So home is using the app layout, and dashboard is using the main layout. That is a different layout, and this is the settings. So I'm going to go to my layouts. So I want it to look like the home, so I'm going to use the app layout. Maybe I could change the name for the layouts, but we're going to leave it like that right now. So it's going to be the app layout in here, and let's see. Okay, so I just want to have this in here, and okay, so this is this. This is this. I don't want. Okay, so yes, I want this. Okay, let's have it like that, and I just want to have this separated from here. Okay, like this, and like this. But I don't want this to be like that, so I could make, for example, so for example, the thing here is that the article, where is it? This article, it's text. Okay, so this is going to be HTML. So we're going to save the article as HTML, and then we need to show it with HTML. So the way to do that in Laravel is use this method, the two exclamation, how do you say it? Exclamation marks. And this is going to say to Laravel, to, in this case, Blade, to interpret the text as HTML and render it using HTML. Okay, so this is not going to be like this, but I want to remove the tags. So so sorry, in here we are not going to do this. We're going to do it like this, but I want to remove the HTML tags. Let's see. No, this is not what I'm trying to do. So PHP method to strip HTML tags from I don't know from text snippet like this. Let's see if okay, so I think it's this one, strip. I think it's strip tags. Okay, but I don't want this. Okay, so I just want it like this. Let's see, how does this work? Okay, let's see. let's see how this is done. So now if I go in here to, let's see, okay, so it's giving me everything. I really don't like how it's looking. We are going to work on the style later on, because I have I think it's a good method to work with the style, because it allows you to have the same style in your website, throughout your website. Basically, it's using a design.json file. So I think I can add this. Let's see. Okay, so yes, like this. Okay, we have it. That's how I wanted to have it. So okay, so this is really there are like a lot of things in here that I don't like, but let's start making it like more. I mean, one thing is the design, and the other thing is the how is this working, like the functionality, the business logic. So I didn't realized that maybe my screen was like hiding the cursor chat. So hopefully it didn't affect the user experience. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so there are basically several things that I don't like. One is that these ones are really wide. So first, let's work on this. So I'm going to add in here a max W. Let's see how. Okay, so I like this better. Maybe we could use 6XL. Okay. And then I can use grid columns. This is for the mobile, and this is for medium and onwards. So in medium, I'm going to use 2. So where is this defined? This is defined in Tailwind config. And okay, so here we have it. Medium, it's for so I have small and medium like be basically the same breakpoint, because for me small it's like a cell phone, a mobile phone. So I don't want to add small. I just want to be like the basic class, and it's basically when you don't add anything before this. But then if you add medium, this is a tablet. So yes, with a tablet, I'm going to have 2 columns. But then in LG, I want to have 3 columns. Okay, so now for each article, this is okay. So now this is going to be on 3 columns. But now if I start to how do you say, if you change the width, you're seeing 1, then you're seeing 2, then you're seeing 3. So that's how I like to have it in here. Okay, so now if I go to I'm going to close this, and let's see if we can add an image over the title. So now if I go in here, let's see if it detects an image. Maybe we need to have it let's see. So for example, where is this image going to be stored? It's going to be stored in Amazon AWS. But for the moment, we have an image stored. So, but I don't know how it's stored. For example, articles preview image. So for example, let's see the factory. So article factory like this. And as you can see, it generated an image URL. So let's see that image URL. I can go to, if I press Control, and I don't know how to say it, but I think it's the key that it's next to the L to the right. If you press that, it's Control and that key, it's going to open you this terminal, this view. This, I don't know, yes, view in Cursor, but also in VS Code. So now I'm going to go to MySQL. Okay, so now if I show the tables, no, so I need to use the database. This is agents tower, show tables, select, so I can describe the columns for articles. And then I'm going to select ID and preview image. I just want to show these two columns from articles. So yes, I think, let's see if this is a real image. Okay, so this doesn't exist. Okay, so let's see. No, this doesn't exist. So I think there's a service called images lorem ipsum. Okay, so if I go to here like this, and let's see if I open this and I open it again. Okay, so I need to have let's see, so like this, and then I want a picture to be 180 720. Let's see if this one, okay, so let's see, ratio, YouTube thumbnail, let's see, 16:9. So for example, okay, so that's 128. So let's see, so for example, so that's 20 like 2080 times 720, so 1280 times 720. So for example, lower resolution. So it will be okay, so let's see this. Let's see what have they said. So I can use this one. So let's see if this one. So if you use calculator, let's see. So if I divide 640 time between, so that's 1.77. So okay, yes. So we're going to use this one to don't have images so big. So I'm going to in here. So it's going to be 640 and 360. So I'm going to copy this and okay, so it works. Just a moment. So let's see. Okay. Okay, so if I add this, let's see if this works. Or something really random. Okay. So that's what we are going to. So for example, if I change this, let's see. No, okay, so this is not working. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to improve this faker. So it's going to be like this. Okay, yes, that is one. What I want to do this. So I'm going to add this. I think that's everything that I need to have. So I'm going to run the migrations again. That's the beautiful thing about this. You can just change everything in your database with just one command. So if I go to in here, let's see what we have. Okay, so it's giving me the same image. I didn't want that, so let's see if I add something in here. So I'm going to change this. I think it's not necessarily like that, but I just want to make let's see if this works again. Okay, so now we have different images. That's how I wanted it to have to be. Okay, looks good. I mean, there are several things that I could do in here. For example, so I could remove the padding. I could just use, I don't know. Yes, I could remove the padding like this, and then just add the padding to the text, and that could be a way to do it. I like it more like that. So for example, let's do that. So okay. So for example, if I go to article controller, okay. So if I go to index articles in here, I don't want this, but I want it in here like this. And for example, I could do it I could do flex column and a gap of in Y of, I don't know, 4 maybe. And then in here I can have like this. So let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to do this, like this, like this. I don't like this how it's showing this. There's no like this corner in here, and also there's no space on the bottom. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this gap, and I'm going to add so I'm going to add, this is going to be p bottom, and like this, and maybe a 6 in here. Let's see how it looks. So let's see. No, it's not working. So why it's not working? Let's see. Okay, why is it not adding? I think let's see, is there a max? Let's see if I delete this. Why is it not adding this? So okay, so I could add flex. So I could add here a gap y4, remove this, and then have it and then I can add in here like this, for example, I don't know, 8. Oh, I know why it wasn't working. It's because I think padding bottom 6 doesn't exist. So if I use like this, it's now adding it. But why is it not adding this? The gap. Flex column. Why is it not adding a gap? Let's see if I restart the server. Sometimes this is the issue. So if I go in here and I just run it again, okay, so now it's detecting it. So yeah, that's, to be honest, pretty strange that sometimes it doesn't detect like some Tailwind classes. I don't know why, but that's a way that it usually, like I have solved like that in the past. And okay, so now what do I want to do? So this is too big. If I go to, just going to add 4, I think it's better. And I don't know if the image should have rounded corners in the bottom. This is a way to do it. I like it. It's a little bit better. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger gap in the vertical. And I'm going to, let's see if this one's okay. So let's do also an 8. Okay. And maybe I can do this like a little bit bigger, like that. Okay. So it's better. I'm going to separate a little bit more articles from this. So I'm going to go to image. In here, I'm going to add. Let's see. noise. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to leave more space. So I'm going to add a margin. Okay. I don't know if I need to add this. I'm going to remove this. Let's see how it's. I like it better. Okay. Okay. I want to add a color to the. Okay. So this is, look how I cannot click on any of these articles. So I can't go to the article because it's not a clickable object. There are several ways to do it. You can use a button and use event listeners from JavaScript. To be honest, I avoid them, especially in this type of cases, because of several things. But we're going to do it instead of this being a div. I could change it to be an anchor like that, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to add a container that it's going to be the age element. So let's see. Okay, so this is like that. And this one should be, okay, let's, just a moment. This one is this, so, okay, so what's the issue in here? This is like this is like this is like this, and this is like this. Okay. So if I okay, so articles.show. Oh, okay. So now this is looking for the route articles.show. So for example, if I go in here, this is blog. The name of this route is blog.show. So I'm going to change this to blog. And now look how the cursor is changing to be a pointer. And now I could click in here and it will take me to this article. But I don't I want to have more interactive animations, or a change in the brightness, in the underline, or something like that. So for example, if I I'm going to add in here hover, and I'm going to do this, but I also want to use hover brightness, and I want to make it brighter, so like this. So for example, let's see if I look how this, I'm to be honest, I'm not completely convinced, but I'm going to add something in here. Let's see. So I'm going to delete this for the moment. So it's not doing anything. Why? Let's ask. I mean, I can ask GPT, but I can also go to Tailwind. And I can go to the docs, and I can I think this is using Tailwind 3. The new one is Tailwind 4. But since we're using config.javascript, I believe this is Tailwind 3. How can we do it? We could look in package.json, but I want to believe. So if I look for brightness, let's see, okay, so brightness 125. The brightness that I was using was 120, so that doesn't exist. So you can see how it changes. Okay, so it can be 125 or 110. Let's see. I'm going to use 125 to make it a little bit more. I like it. I like it. Okay. So now I'm also going to use the scale method, but we are going to need to do something additional. So I'm going to use overflow hidden. So now you can see how there's a scale, but it doesn't get out of its container. Okay, so it just stays in there. In the other one, the image was getting outside of the container. Okay, and I also look how there's a lot of space between the two lines in the title, but just a moment. Okay. So so in here I'm going to modify the line height. So look how the line height is 120, 175. So I'm going to write, it can be 125 or maybe 150. To be honest, I really like 125. Like not that 125, but that it's the same height as the font size. So I'm going to go, where can I there are different ways on how I can do this. I could go to, I think it's in app.css. Let's see if I have it in here. So basic, I think this should make this should change it to just be the same height as the font size, but okay, so let's see. Let's see what's going on in here. So I think, let's see. I think text LG, it's the thing that's making this. Okay. Yes. So, okay, so that is what's making the difference. So for example, if I go in here and I do, instead of having text LG, I have just H2 and I use an H4. So H4 line height 125. Okay. So now what? Okay. That's strange. Okay. Let's see what's the. So I'm getting 125 when I should get 1 or 1.5 rem. like this. Yes. So this should be the same of this, but I'm getting 125. So that means that it's taking into account the 1.5 rem, and it's multiplying it by 1.25. So that's why it's a little bit separated. So there's a different ways on how I can work with this. The easiest one, I'm going to use, yes, it can be, I mean, this is not really important, but let's have it. Let's work on this. So H3. Okay, so max width. Okay. So this is modifying it. So for example, I think if I add it in here, I think if I add it like this, okay, so for example, let's see. So this is H3, so if I use in here leading none, okay, so that's how I wanted to have it. And like this. So I'm going to do it like this. Sorry, I'm going to leave it like that. Maybe something like this. Okay. So now there are some things in here that I want to modify. For example, I want to separate this a little bit more, and I want to have the same height for each card, independent of the length of the title. So what's happening here is that this title is longer than this one. It has more characters, so that's why one of the words it's going to the other. I don't know if more characters, but definitely it's making that one word it goes to the next line. So that's why this card is being more, it's being higher than this one. So I'm going to save, I'm going to start saving. So for example, this is changed leading for titles, for headers, for headings. Okay. So okay, just that one. Then okay, so that the thing which there are different ways to work with this. First, I'm going to add I want to delete this, and okay, so like this, and I'm going to add a margin like this. Okay, so it's separated. Now I want to make them have the same height. So there are different ways. One of the ways that I don't recommend is adding, for example, the height that you want. For example, height, I don't know, let's make it like this, will be 400 pixels, for example. Let's see. So for example, I don't know, 800 to say. Now they have the same height. The issue with this is that you need to know, for example, the height that should be for each of these sizes, okay? And that's, well, to be honest, that's not a good method. It's not feasible. I need to work on this. I'm going to do it in a moment. But that's a way to do it. We're not going to use that way. So now we're going to use H auto, and then no, so I'm going to use, sorry, H full. Let's see if this okay, so as you can see, now we have the same height for each of the cards. Okay, and this height, it's going to be variable in the sense that if this changes, the height, it's also going to change. As you can see, it's being modified. What I don't like about this is, and there are ways to work it, we are going to do it, is that look how the title, the text starts where the title ends. So for example, if there's a title that's higher than the other one, it looks like it's not aligned. So what I'm going to do, I think it's in here, it's empty auto. Sometimes it doesn't work at the beginning, but let's see. So yes, in here I need to add H full, and in here I need to add empty auto. I don't know if this is going to, okay, so yes, that was my, so this is not working. Why? Because this one needs to be, let's see, like this. Okay, now it's working. So yes, we need to add some flags so that it can be, so that the margin is considered. Okay, so that's how you do it. So now the title starts at the same height and the text starts at the same height for each of the lines. So yes, this is not going to respect for if there's a text in here, and like it's not going to respect what's happening in the previous rows or in the next rows, but that is not really important. You just want to have the same height in the row so that it looks aligned. Okay, so now what else? I like to have, for example, I like to do this. There's other things that I like to do. For example, in here, I like to add a hover underline. So if someone has their mouse over the title, they know it's a clickable element. But maybe in this one, I want to do it different. For example, instead of just making bigger the image, how about we do it for everything inside it? So, for example, if I copy this and I paste it in the div like this, let's see if this works. So it's making everything bigger. And I really like it, to be honest. I like how this is working, so I'm going to leave it like that. Yes, I really like that. Okay, so we have the index. I'm going to save this index. Articles index working. Okay, so now if I click on this, we are in here. So what's happening? I'm clicking and I'm going to articles controller, and I'm in here in the show of articles. Okay, so let's remove this and let's see what happens. So if I click, nothing's happening. Why? Because yes, it's getting one article and then it's showing the articles.show view. So articles.show, where is it? So it's in views. articles.show doesn't have anything. So we're going to use the same layout. And let's see. Let's like this. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so now if okay, so I have this and okay, so what's happening in here? So this it doesn't have HTML. This text doesn't have HTML. I don't know if I can make it in the factory. So let me see if I can modify this. Is there a way to add? Oh, okay, got it. So is there a way to add HTML tags to that? Okay, let's do something else. List all of the faker methods like this. Okay, let's see. Okay, fake, no, but this is .js. Love the PHP faker methods. Yeah, those didn't make sense. So it's taking a while. Let's stop this and send it again. Should be faster. Okay, name, first name, address. Okay, company text, miscellaneous. Okay, is there a PHP faker method for generating fake HTML? And we're working with this because you already saw how easy it is to make the like a lot of information in here to start looking how it's going to see in the future, right? Because if not, if I made a change to the database or to the migrations, I will need to add all of the articles again just to see it in action, right? So that's why so that's why I don't know how to say it. So that's why I'm using time to work on this faker and the seeder. So let's see. Let's see if this works, because sometimes it doesn't work. So sometimes it hallucinates. So okay, faker HTML lorem. Okay, now I'm going to ask, what are the parameters for HTML lorem for PHP faker? Let's see. Max step, okay. Max width, okay. So let's do 3 levels deep and 10 levels wide. So now I need to rerun the PHP artisan migrate, and it's working. So now yes, we have an error. Well, I'm going to work on that in a moment. But the issue, okay, so you need to be really careful to not run the migrations in here if you already have a production database, because this is going to delete everything inside the database. And if you already have users information or activities that your users have made, you need to be really careful to not delete it. I can do that in here because it's a local project, but when I move this to the production server, it's going. I cannot run this. I just need to run the last migrations when I'm sure that that's the migration that I want to migrate to the production server. So let's work on it. Yes, this doesn't work. So I'm going to go to Google, the old Google, and let's look for PHP faker methods, for example. PHP faker. Let's see. So let's see. HTML lorem random. So that's random HTML, not HTML. So lorem. So it's, let's see if random HTML works. And let's rerun all of the migrations. Okay, so supposedly that worked. Let's see. I just want to see the. Okay, so let's see in here. Okay, I open this. Okay, so interesting. So this is the HTML that it's generating. So it's also adding inputs. Let's see if there's other things that I can do. Let's see. Okay, let's see if there's something like text. Formatters, text and paragraphs, words, sentences, paragraph, text. So okay, we're going to leave it like that. It's not really important, but we can start seeing the HTML. Okay, and this is the title. So if I go to show articles, article name, okay, like this, and index, okay, to delete this, and okay. So if I go, I'm going to delete this. I don't know, to be honest, what it's doing. Like this. Wait. So let's do like this. Okay, I like it. And I'm going to add the image. How can I add the image? Well, I don't know if it's required, to be honest. We can leave it like this. Okay, I'm going to add color to the footer. So background, let's do what's the color in the header? No, in the, what's the color in the, so what's the color in, yes, it's the header. So no, sorry, it's not the header, it's the home. Okay, And where's this home? Okay, so it's this. I don't know why it keeps adding. There are ways to work with this. I'm going to start using it in this project. So it's going to be background teal. We're going to use a teal. Let's see how a teal 200 looks. I don't like it. So let's see like this. That's okay. That's not the best one, but I'm going to focus on the design later on. And I will like to add similar or related articles. So I need to add the blog over here in the top. And why is it keep adding this text gray? I don't want the text gray. Like this. And I'm going to add in the header. So I want to, so here are several ways in which I can add something. For example, in here, I would add something like add other articles section, add an other articles section, like something like that. Let's see what does. And to be honest, I do use it a lot for this type of things that I already know exactly what I want and in which place, and it really helps me. So I'm going to add this. I'm going to accept them, and then let's see how it looks. Okay. So how can we? Okay, so it's getting other articles. Let's do. So let's do something like newest articles, and so like this. So I'm going to do newest articles, or yeah, other articles is okay. So because in the future I can change it. So in the article controller in here, I'm going to use newest articles. That's okay. It looks okay. So here, but I'm going to change this to other. So now so I don't like it. I'm going to work that in a moment. And just what else? Okay, so just before I leave, this is going to be everything for this session. I'm going to go to the header. So I'm going to header, and why it's not detecting header. So why it's not detecting header? So I go to views. Where's views? So components. What's the name of it? So I go to app layout, and I'm going to go to navigation. So that's navigation. Maybe I should change the name, but okay. So like this. Okay, so now I have it in here. So I go to blog in here. And in here we can have something like, for example, pricing, that it still doesn't, like this. And now I can start. So I just want to make sure about something. I want to make sure that this is Okay, yes, okay. And this is going to be like this, gap X and gap Y. It's going to be 0. Block pricing. And for example, I'm going to add, I could do it in other, something like that, but I'm going to delete transition. I could do it better brightness. And I can do it something, for example, hover, scale. I don't know if this will work. Yes. I don't like it, but let's see if it fits. To be honest, I don't like this. I don't like it, but let's see. Transition. Let's see. I don't like it. I'm going to delete this. And what I'm going to do is add opacity. Opacity 90, something like that. Okay, and maybe I could add, for example, font bold, but not bold. I will use semi-bold, or even medium. Okay, opacity 90, maybe 95. And I could use, let's see, font size 17, so font size, okay. So this is everything for this session. I'm going to continue like working later on this. Right now I need to leave, but I'm just going to save everything. And so index articles, show articles, so articles show index, and then this one also, so everything. Okay, so articles controller, okay, and then navigation, home, and footer, so that's layout. And then this one is not ready, but I want to save it for the moment, so that's outdoors. So that's index and show. There's a name for that, but I want to be more explicit, so it's going to be like that. So I'm going to sync the changes. And that's everything for this live coding session. I hope you like it. It was pretty basic, but we can, later we're going to start working on more things. If there's anything that you would like to see, like for example, to focus on structure, on Tailwind, on, I don't know, API endpoints, or the admin dashboard or something, anything, please let me know. You can send me a message, you can leave a comment, and I'll be glad to help you. And that's everything. And I'm going to see you later on another live coding session. See you later. So in here, how do I stop?